I'm going to show you how to work with data in a database using the filter feature when you have multiple criterion. I'm using Microsoft Access as my database software, and I have a national parks database that I'll be using. My database contains 52 records, as you can see, located here, and numerous fields regarding information about national parks. So as I said, we'll be using the multiple criterion. If you have not watched my single criterion tutorial, I suggest that you watch that first to get a feel for using the filter feature prior to trying to use the multiple criterion search. So, on to the multiple criterion searches. Again, my database contains several fields: park name, city, state, year it was established, so forth and so on, and we'll be using a number of these fields to do our search. We'll start with an example such as which park has a specific budget, charges an admission fee, and was built before a specific time. Now, it's possible to accomplish a multiple criterion search with several steps using the header of each field. So I'm going to show you that first. So again, I'm looking at budget. So I find my yearly budget column. And I want a yearly budget greater than $15 million. So if I use my number filter, greater than 15, and again, do not use commas in these searches. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 15 million. And I click search, I have 4 records. But I also want to know which ones charge an admission fee. So again, using my header, I clear my select all and choose yes, they charge an admission fee. That brings me to 3 parks that meet the 2 criterion so far. And then I want to add before 1900. Now, yes, we can simply look at these records and know that 2 of these were built before 1900. But if this was a massive database with thousands of records, then we would not want to have to do that. So just to show you, a number filter less than 1900, and that would remove the one that was built after 1900. So that is a multi-step, multiple criterion filter search. But those multi-steps are not necessary. So what I want to do is I want to show you a more efficient way to accomplish the same task. So I'm going to go up here to Advanced, and I'm going to clear all filters. I want to show you that I'm back to my 52 original records and show you how to apply all of the criteria in one step. I'm going to go to the Advanced, Filter by Form. So I'm not using the headers in this case. The headers are only going to be useful if you have a single criterion. So filter by form, and you'll notice that now I have each of my headers and a place for me to put my criterion. So go back to our original example. It was a budget more than 15 million. So I'll go to my yearly budget, and I'm going to type in the greater than sign, and then I'm going to place my numeric criteria in there. Again, no commas. In addition, I want parks that charge an admission fee, so I want a check mark there. And it should be built prior to 1900. So year established is less than 1900. Now, I have my criterion in place. To apply the filter, I will go to my sort and filter category on the ribbon and choose toggle filter. And we see those same two parks, Yellowstone and Yosemite, that were established prior to 1900, charge an admission fee, and have a yearly budget greater than $15 million. So that is one example of using the multiple criterion to do a search. Now, the thing that I want to mention here is those were all and. They were established after 1900 and had a yearly budget and an admission fee. But what if you wanted an or? Now, going back to your header, you can only use the header to in one step to search for one criterion. You can use the header in multiple steps to do an and search, but not an or. So if you're going to do an or search, you will have to do filter by form. So let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to clear my previous filters. So I have all 52 records. Oops, didn't grab that right. All 52 records, as you can see there in my record count. And now I am going to filter by form. And what you'll see in the filter by form that we will utilize for our or search is the tabs at the bottom, in the bottom corner. So we still have all of our fields that we can place our criteria in, but we also have the or. So let's go ahead and get started with an example for this one. Let's say we want parks that were built before 1950. So year established is going to be less than 1950 or after 1980. Now again, you're going to have to use the or tab because you can only put one criterion in your field. So we click on the or tab. Notice that our year established is clear now, and we can put in greater than 1980. So we have an or search going on, built before 1950 or 1980. So we won't see any of the parks that were built in between. But we also had another criterion, and that is that they do not charge an admission fee. Now that is an and. So we're going to go back to our look for tab, and we're going to go over to our admission fee field. And this time we do not want an admission fee, so we're going to clear that out. And then we're looking at, again, our or. Move that over just a little bit more. So we have our year in the or there. So when we toggle filter, we'll see that we have 9 records. Checking the year established, we want them all to be before 1950 and after 1980. And it looks like that we have accomplished that. We also wanted them to not charge an admission fee. Now what we have here is we have some that charged an admission fee and some that do not. So I did that on purpose because I want to show you how you have to be very meticulous in setting up your search. So I'm going to go back to our filter by form, And the mistake that was made is that we put the year established before 1950 and the no admission fee on one tab, and then we did the OR tab and set up the after 1980. However, in order to filter out those that charge an admission fee after 1980, we would have to apply the and no admission fee on the OR tab as well. So just keep that in mind if you're doing an OR with an and you want the and to be applied to both OR criterion. So let's do this search again and see if we get the results we were looking for. So now we're down to 5 records, and we can see if we sort this smallest to largest that we have 4 records showing national parks that were built before 1950 and 1 park that was built after 1980. The reason those are the only ones that showed up is because we did the other criterion that said no admission fee. So you can see that none of these parks charge that admission fee. So you want to be very careful when setting up your AND criterion with your OR criterion to ensure that you are getting the appropriate information. And then it's always good to go back and check to make sure the information that you got, that you test it against your criterion to make sure that you did truly get that information. Okay, so that's going to wrap up our multiple criterion tutorial. I hope that this will take you into that advanced level of filtering and searching your database and will assist you in being more productive with efficient and effective searches. Thank you for viewing my tutorial today.